What's up, YouTube? It's your boy John from Project Ellsworth, and I am back with you today to give you another Top 20 for 2020 list. That is the horror movie series created by Joe the Horror Man and Jason from Horrific Nightmares, where twice a month we YouTubers in the horror community put together a Top 20 list within a subgenre under the horror genre umbrella. This time we are doing our Top 20 favorite sequels. So, without further ado, let's get to it. Alright, right off the bat, I might catch a little bit of steam for this one. Number 20 for me is A Nightmare on Elm Street Part 3, Dream Warriors. I know, pardon me, I've ranked all of the Nightmare on Elm Street movies. I've done a ranking video of the Nightmare on Elm Street movies, the entire franchise up to and including the remake. Dream Warriors is pretty high on that list. I believe it was number 3, if I'm not mistaken. I'm not positive, but I believe it was. I'm just not simply the biggest Nightmare on Elm Street fan in the world. This is on this list primarily because I almost feel like there were so many movies made and this franchise was so important to the horror genre in general that a movie needed to be on this list. I prefer the first movie overall. I prefer the remake second overall, but the remake is not a sequel. So if I gotta pick one, I'm gonna go with Dream Warriors. Alright, coming in at number 19 is Rob Zombie's sequel to House of a Thousand Corpses, The Devil's Rejects. I also did a franchise review of all the Rob Zombie movies, but this one I thought was pretty good. I'm kind of hot and cold with Rob Zombie stuff, but I did enjoy this one. I did not enjoy it as much as House of a Thousand Corpses, but I did enjoy it nonetheless. Coming in at number 18 is Jeepers Creepers 2. This movie I actually thought was every bit as good as the first movie was. There were parts of the first movie that I preferred more. There were parts of the second movie that I preferred more. But overall, I think they're about the same. Jeepers Creepers 2. I thought this was pretty good. Next up is probably the newest movie on this list for me. Coming in at number 17 is The Strangers Prey at Night. I don't like this one as much as the original, but I do like this one quite a bit. It's got a very different feel than the original movie did. There's a lot more out in open space, where the original pretty much takes place entirely inside of one house, primarily inside of one room. This movie is significantly different. It takes place outdoor, open environment, same cast of characters, great movie. If you haven't seen it, check it out. Alright, here's another one that's probably significantly higher on other people's lists. Evil Dead 2. I do not like this movie as much as I like The Evil Dead, but I do like this movie more than I like Army of Darkness, but I do not like it as much as I like the remake. But of the sequels, this is my favorite of the two. I do enjoy this movie. I thought it was very cool, very quirky. I love Bruce Campbell. I love the character Ash. Pretty good movie, very legendary movie, very important movie in the horror genre. Alright, coming in at number 15, The Dead 2. This movie is absolutely amazing. Incredibly well made. I don't ever hear anyone talking about The Dead or The Dead 2. I think the first and second one are both very good. It's hard to pick which one that I prefer more. They're very slow burn zombie movies. The first one is definitely very slow burn. This one is not as slow of a burn. It is the story. It's a love story that's taking place during a zombie apocalypse. And as goofy as that may sound, it's not goofy at all. It's a very serious movie. A guy is trying to get to his pregnant girlfriend in India, who are being overtaken by a zombie apocalypse. Very well made. The effects in this are incredible. The story is awesome. It looks incredible. Like I said, a lot of people don't talk about these movies. If you like zombie movies, find and watch these two movies. They're incredible. Alright, next up, number 14 is Texas Chainsaw Massacre: The Beginning. This is probably my second favorite of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre movies overall. I'm a big fan of the original film. I don't think that anything that they make is ever going to make me. I'm not going to like anything more than the 1974 classic movie, but this one is pretty darn good. I like a lot of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre movies. I also did an individual ranking of those. I also did a franchise ranking of those, or individual review and a franchise ranking. This one's very high on that list. I think this is very good. I think it's better than the remake. Great movie. I'm sure you've probably seen this one. Most people have. Most horror movie fans have, I should say. Another movie coming in at number 13 is another movie that I don't think enough people talk about, and it's The Collection. Hardly ever hear anybody talk about The Collector or The Collection. This movie's fantastic. I prefer the original, which is called The Collector, but this is also very, very good. Guy's a serial killer. He's a slasher. His identity is hidden. Fantastic movie. Begins in a nightclub. Pretty chaotic. Awesome movie. Next up on my list is at number 12, The Human Centipede 2. I thought the concept of the human centipede was pretty far out there, and it's a very well-made movie. It's very creepy. This one is more creepy, or creepier, whichever word works for you. This one's awesome. The beginning of this movie, this dude is a fan of the Human Centipede, the movie The Human Centipede, which stars that dude right there, and he is trying to create a larger centipede. It's gnarly, it's gross, it's grosser than the first one, and it's not as ridiculous as the third one. This movie's fantastic too. Alright, next up is number 11, 28 Weeks Later. This is another movie that I think is just about as good as the original. Fantastic movie, really cool cast, really, really cool story. Great movie. I did a review of that one as well. Check that out. Next up is a movie that I think slides in on a technicality, Zombie 2. This is basically Jesus, it's early in the morning, folks, don't be harsh. It's Italy's sequel to George Romero's Return of the Living Dead, but it has absolutely positively nothing to do with George Romero's movie. It's not written or directed by George Romero. I'm sure you know that guy if you've been in the horror genre or the horror community long enough, you recognize that image. This is a cool movie. This is the 25th anniversary edition. This is very old. I think that it's got to be around 40 years old now. The movie, I believe it came out in 1980, 81, something like that. Classic zombie movie. Fantastic. Check it out. Next up at number 9 is Jaws 2. Absolutely love Jaws 2. Don't have it on Blu-ray yet. I'm still looking for the 4K for Jaws. I gotta stop being lazy and just order it online. Get into this century and do so. But this movie's fantastic. I think that this is almost as good as the original Jaws was. The scene at the end where the kids are trapped on the lighthouse or the electrical tower island or whatever it is awesome. Roy Schreider, great movie. Jaws 2, classic. Next up is number 8, Saw 3. Absolutely positively love the Saw franchise. The only one that I really wasn't crazy about, to be honest with you, was Jaws 3D, the most recent movie. I think it's okay, but I'm not crazy about it. I love every other one of the Saw movies. Did I say Jaws remake? Whatever. Saw 3. This one is the movie that Jigsaw actually does get killed in. You have a doctor trying to save his life. Amanda is basically holding her at gunpoint. She's got a contraption around her neck that is shotgun shells that if it's triggered and goes off, it's going to blow her head off. It's a fantastic movie. It's basically more of the same of all the Saw movies, but I just thought that story was the most compelling next to the original film. All right, coming in at number 7 is Aliens. This is a fantastic movie. It's an absolute classic, sci-fi horror. More of an action movie than the first movie was. I prefer the first movie at times. I prefer this movie at times. I think it's just a matter of which side of the bed I wake up on that day and which movie I would prefer to watch. Basically how my day's going. But this is fantastic. Absolute classic movie. I have to assume that you've all seen Aliens. And if you have not, go get Aliens and check them out. Alright, next up is number 6 is Hellbound, Hellraiser 2. This one I like quite a bit. Definitely not as much as the original, but this is not an originals list. This is a sequels list, and this is definitely the best sequel, in my opinion, of the Hellraiser franchise. I haven't seen them all, I'll be honest with you, but I know a lot about the other movies, and this is definitely the best of the sequels from what I hear and read. All right, number 5, Wolf Creek 2. This could easily be higher on a whole lot of people's lists. This is a fantastic movie. I love Wolf Creek 2. I did a review of this movie as well. John Jarrett is fantastic as Mick Taylor. There's really not a whole lot more to say about it. Watch this movie if you haven't seen Wolf Creek 2. This is fantastic. Great movie. Very tough to take, very emotionally taxing at times, but that movie's fantastic. All right, coming in at number 4 is what seems to be the most common favorite anthology film out there, Creepshow II. Wonderful, wonderful movie. All of the stories are great. It looks great. It's acted great. It's carried out great. Everything about this movie is great. Creepshow 2 is an absolute classic. Love Creepshow 2. I gotta get this thing on Blu-ray. Phenomenal movie. Coming in at number 3 is Halloween 2. A lot of people would probably be surprised that this is not number 1 for me, because I absolutely love Michael Myers. I'm a die-hard Halloween fan, but this is the sequel. If this were the original, Halloween would be number 1. So Halloween 2 is definitely way high on my list. Love this movie. I think this movie's possibly scarier than the original movie. Love Halloween 2. Great atmosphere, great setting. All right, number 2 is Friday the 13th Part 4. The reason this is higher on my list is it's my favorite Friday the 13th movie, whereas Halloween 2 is my second favorite Halloween movie. So I got to rank a number 1 over a number 2 every time. Absolutely love this. I think that this is the perfect Friday the 13th movie. It looks great. It's carried out great. The story is great. The special effects are great. Everything about the Jason character in this movie was top notch. Love Friday the 13th, the final chapter. All right, and my number 1 favorite sequel of all time is Day of the Dead. Absolutely love Day of the Dead. This is one of those movies that I consider to be one of the reasons that I'm a horror movie fan. This is an extremely important movie to me. I love this movie. Like I said, I saw that it shaped me when I was younger. When I saw this and I was like, how the hell do I get more of that? I need to see more of that. And now I've been seeking out anything that comes remotely close to as good as this movie is for me. This is definitely my favorite George Romero movie. I love Day of the Dead. I love The Crazies. I love Return of the Living Dead, Land of the Dead. Love all of his stuff. But this is hands down my favorite. I love Bub. I love the Rhodes character. The Rhodes character is an absolute classic character in the zombie subgenre and the horror movie genre in general. Love Day of the Dead. All right, so that's my list. If you guys want to see me do a review of any of those movies, drop some comments below. I'm going to get out of here. If you like this video, please give me a thumbs up. If you really like this video and you've been enjoying my content up to this point, please do me a huge personal favor. Click that subscribe button and ring that notification bell. Take care of yourself. Take care of each other. Have a kick-ass day. And thank you for watching.